Let me start with an unreserved apology. My apology is without reservation. It's total apology for the misunderstanding that arose between us in my committee at that time at the Night Assembly. I apologize without reservation, total apology. And I pray that, as I have done privately to my committee members at that time, headed by, like I mentioned in my main speech, Distinguished Senator Akwashiki, after which the last 2 years of my stay as Minister of State Labor, we had a fantastic relationship. We were visiting ourselves at home. We had a relationship outside the office. It was as good as that. I had done that to him personally and to the committee before, and I do that to the entire Senate at this time. Maybe it was as a result of the lack of knowledge of the fact that this matter had long been resolved between us and the members of that committee. Subsequently, there were so many hearings, budget defense and all that we attended on a very convivial atmosphere. So the apology is without reservation at all. I apologize. The only two things I just need to say before I go, because we are before the world, one or two things. One is that regarding that program, because when Nigerians hear a figure, their ears go up. Hey, one big figure has been mentioned. No. Regarding that program, every single payment, and I insisted to the past president that it must come from the central bank directly to the accounts of the people who were nominated to receive those funds. And so we as ministers, both ministers in the ministry and the head of the agency at that time that we supervised, never saw one kobo. It was straight, all we needed to do was to generate the list and pass to the CBN. And the CBN paid directly from the CBN account to those individual accounts. Till today, as I see, we did not see, nothing even came to the account of that agency. And today, I make a promise that the entire register of everybody that received that amount per local government, their accounts, their account numbers and BVN, we insisted on BVN. Every detail is available at the National Director of Employment. Anybody can go there and ask for a copy. We have it in a flash and confirm every single one with a BVN number. And they are all there for complete transparency. Till today, we did not see one kobo of that. I needed to make that clarification. And like I said, I'm sorry for that misunderstanding.
It's your apology. The one of whether you saw 1 naira or not, the Senate did not hear that one. Because if the money went into somebody's account, there is no member of this Senate that will have the password to that account to view whether the money entered or not. And in any case, government is a continuum. This Senate still has a right to go backwards, to look at what happened, to check the beneficiaries and all that. It's only when we do our investigation and our oversight that will find out whether the entire 52 billion actually entered into the hands of those that were meant to enter. You were, as a minister, you were not expected to see 1 naira unless you were a beneficiary. Senator Akwashiki.
Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, the nominee before us today, first to Kenyamo, SAN, that was nominated by His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to serve as a minister in his cabinet, was also a minister in the last administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And he happens to be a minister for state that supervises NDE and the arbitration panel under my own committee on labor, employment and productivity. Just like he said, after 3 months of his nomination, there was a pandemic in Nigeria, COVID-19, and there was some fund that was allocated to the ministry under his watch to cushion the effect of the COVID-19. And that happens to be the chairman then. We invited him here in the same hall, and I serve as the chairman of the combined committee, both the Senate and the House of Reps. And something came up. We tried to ask questions. We tried to ask questions to know what is happening, just like Dalitron have said it earlier before, Senator Darlington, minority whip, have said it before now. We try to know what really happened with the fund and what is going on. But here, he told us in the presence of the minister, the senior minister, Senator Ngegi, that he is not answerable to the Senate. He was appointed by this. But at the end of the day, he left. And after like 2 months, I think he looked for both me and the chairman House of Reps, that then we can submit the list of the National Assembly then. But when he came to what, a lot of senators then were very angry then because the thing has scattered. But today before this Senate, I can see he has apologized. Can apologize. One house, one house, one house, one house, one house. Please, I'm protected by Mr. Chairman. I'm protected by Mr. Chairman, please. Yes. And a lot of people were not angry, including myself then. I wasn't happy. But after that incident, just like he mentioned now, to appropriation, because the day he made a statement here, it looked as if he won't even appear before the National Assembly again. But after then, we invited the ministry to appear before us to defend their budget. He was there. And even the last budget, 2023 budget that was defended by the ministry, he was also there, just like he said. Now that he's apologized before the National Assembly, including myself, because I also have a question that I should ask. But now that I apologize, I want to appeal to the General House and the Senate under the leadership of Mr. Chairman, who the Senate President, that I am moving a motion for him to take the leave of the Senate and to go and not to sin again. Take a leave and go, and don't repeat such again now that you have apologized before this horror house, because this is the highest institution of lawmaking in Nigeria. And our duty is to oversight the executive arm of government for checks and balances. Mr. Chairman, sir, take this as a motion before this horror house to consider. Thank you. I so move.
The nominee has apologized, and then somebody will move a motion to say whether we have accepted the apology or not, and then we move on. But when you narrated the incident and then you said now that he has apologized, that you want to move a motion, you haven't moved the motion. You said you want to move a motion. The Chief Whip of the Senate, can you lead us?
We have Kenyamo before us. On resumption, he apologized. The next thing the Senate President would do is to put the question whether we have accepted the apology or not, and we move on. And from all indication, all of us have accepted the apology because we are human. This thing has passed, and as you rightly said, if there is anything related to that project that needs to be investigated, there is no foreclosure to it. So please put the question.
The Senate President not to put the question when there is no motion. So I expect somebody to move a motion so that we decide whether we have accepted the apology or not. Not that the Senate President should put a question when there is no motion. Go ahead.
Colleagues, I'm Mohamed Ali Ndume. I move the motion that this Senate do accept the apologies tendered by the nominee. I so move.
Mr. President Mpigi Baranada. Mr. President, I stand here to second the motion as ably moved by the Senate Whip that the apologies of our brother Festus Kenyamo. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and duly seconded that the apologies tendered to the Nigerian Senate in the past, today, and in the future by our brother over his conduct in the 9th Senate be accepted. Those who are in support of this motion say aye. Aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. The apologies are hereby accepted. Yes, distinguished Senator Jaribe.
Senator Jaribe represent the good people of Cross River North. I move a motion that the nominee, Festus Kenyamo son, takes a leave of the Senate. I so move.
Point of order by distinguished Senator Neda.
Distinguished President sitting as chair, if I have your indulgence, may I please read it? Order 10. Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring that the contempt or breach of his privilege has been committed. Mr. President, this motion being moved is to cut all of us up from any question that we still have to ask the nominee. We will accept his apology. No, we still have questions. No, we still, can we not ask questions? You are cutting me off. You are cutting us off. You are cutting us off. Okay, Mr. President, may I?
Point of order. Point of. Distinguished colleagues, a motion is on the floor that in view of the apology tendered by this former minister who had earlier been cleared by this August Assembly, that he be allowed to take leave of the Senate. Those who are in favor of this motion say aye. Aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. It was seconded. Leader of the Senate.
May I move that we resolve back into a closed door session to be able to clear some issues. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President,